I like that one. What's that called? Stijn Wakeren. Hello, Terry. Anyway, that is from the Heartbound official soundtrack. Because they're cool things that I can use for free. Hi. I think I'm streaming. Yes, I am. I am David from Fertile Pixel, and I've been making a robot game. Making other games too. But yes, I've actually got a release up too. I have not linked it in the VODs yet, but yeah, that should work. Done a system restart, so I haven't got everything open. But if I just grab a browser and put that browser somewhere else, and grab that. There we go. So if you go to here, then you'll get something that doesn't quite look like mine because mine is the developer one. And it should basically work. Full screen doesn't use the full screen yet. I will fix that, but yeah, basically it's the same thing I've been working on. And I just did that build at the end of the last stream. And you can mess with these because they're all kind of random right now. I think some of them have, yeah, this one's got a routine that requires a laser, but there's no laser. Oh, there's still a bug where you have to reselect things. That's why it's making shields. And that will actually be using up the resources for 2 shields, even though 2 shields doesn't actually do anything at the moment. But I'm pretty sure I will basically make a robot that has all of those mount points and separate parts that attach and can take damage individually and be destroyed individually. Not sure if I'll do that for every part. Like all the sensors are kind of in the head of the robot, presumably. And just getting my tea ready here. It's been a long day. And tomorrow will be another long day. So let me just get my stream manager up over here. And then I'll get to some coding. So this is nice. I've been... I'm not going to leave that open because I don't want that to use any resources. But yeah, same thing here. It was a bit of a... where is that? Little boop is still there. You just get malfunctioning boop by default for fun. What was I just trying to do? The blueprint editor. Just a routine editor. No, that's the old routine editor that is still there for some reason. And here's the blueprint editor. So getting the blueprint editor done, that took quite a lot of work. Well, there was multiple streams. If I'd been just working full time on this game, then it would have been like 1, maybe 2 days of work. So not really that much. Actually, I did a few longer streams, so yeah. Anyway, half a week at most, I think. But it really drags on when it's just done a bit at a time in streams. So, well, that's what I get for getting having a day job and making a decent income with that. So, anyway, I've got my little to-do list here, which is just a game object with some other game objects underneath. This one is to show the current action in a robot. So basically, if you select a factory, you get to use these this command palette to add the actions into the routine track here. But when you've selected a robot, you'll see the routine it has. You can't change its routine, even though these buttons don't look any different. But it doesn't show what the robot's actually doing. So that's what I'm working on today. And let me update this thing here. What have we got? Current task. There we are. I should take the time to build a thing that lets me just like have a to-do list that'll also show the title at the top of the stream there. But then again, I could use that time to work on a game. Always tricky to balance it out when it's building tooling that will help to speed things up in the future. When do you spend that time, and how much time do you spend? There are good ways to compute a reasonable amount of time to spend based on the payoff in time saving. But yeah, it's still a tricky to balance thing, because especially if you don't know how long you're going to be benefiting from something. All right, so what do we got here? I select this robot. I can see. Let me get a more interesting one. Well, let's make a more interesting one. So let's get a more varied routine going on here. We'll turn left. Let's move into our neighbor's lane. Take a step forward, and then we'll like alternate taking a shot and shielding before we continue, something like that. So now this bot has got, well, that one was destroyed. When the next one's ready, just wait for that to be produced. I should have picked a faster production one. That's doomed. Let me use this one up here because this is just spawning these really basic bots. I really want to fix that bug every time I see it. It's such a noticeable bug. Okay, these guys just... Oh, I was going to get them turning, but they can't turn. I was going to get them invading the adjacent lane. Let's get these. They've got standard legs, so let's keep the standard legs. And we'll just have them try and go help these guys a bit, maybe. So go to do a bunch of walking forwards. They're a little more expensive than the wheelie guys. It'd be good, but I can actually show the wheel legs. But I want them to mostly move forward, but also a little bit of, what's the wrong way? A little bit of turn, go into lane, and face forward again. So that's what this one should be doing. So now you got that routine selected, but we can't really tell where in the routine it is, which you kind of don't need to, but it'd still be nice to tell. And is it going to crash into its neighbor? Yes, whoopsie. Didn't end up making any difference. Okay, so that's the goal. The first goal is just show something there for whichever one is currently happening. I might just open a sprite. That is not my a sprite thing. I think I need to grab this thing here. And there it is. Always recovering files, recent files, sprites. Okay, so here's what we've got. Oops, no, that is the output sprites file. This is the one I want. So I've already got like the frame over here somewhere. There's my routine track frame. So I'll just copy that, I think. See if I can copy the whole thing and just paste a new frame. That's not working. For some reason, if I go new frame, I've got that. Just copying a frame is a little, I don't know what's the word there. Like I think I can copy that, click here and paste that in. And then whatever's up here, delete. Is that all good? Okay. So actually, I think I'll go up here. Let's just zoom that. Basically, probably just want to make. What am I even making? I'm making a selection, some kind of selection indicator showing what is active. Should be like this. That should be like these guys should. Yeah, it's that. It's just the red bit that's I guess the icon's in there. So just make that a little more like this. Doesn't need to be super obvious. I mean, it needs to be obvious, but doesn't have to be super amazing. But I might actually just turn the alpha right down on this. Just add a little bit on the outside of there. That'll just be like a glow. Turn it down a little more. That might be too subtle to even notice. But hey, this is all these assets are temporary. So they will all be replaced with better looking ones sometime. And I could just make all of these squares, rectangles. But it's just a bit more fun, I find, to make them look a bit nicer. At least look a little bit like something. Especially given that I like to push out builds, playable builds, as often as I can. Just means the it's a bit more readable what's actually going on. Okay, that looks decent. So let's just get the background and remove it. And that's interesting. That's fine. But I basically had copied the background. I'd copied the merged colors essentially. What am I doing? There. Okay, what happens if I hide this? Nothing there except for this thing I put here that I didn't mean to. Okay, let's try that again. Technically, it's fine. Oh, right. I'm trying to paint on there with the color and wondering why it's not working. It's not working because it is working. It's just very see-through. So I need to erase these rather than put paint with a transparent color over the top. There we are. So this has ended up taking me about 3 times as long as I had intended. But, well, I'm sure I won't get in trouble. Where are we? There. This one here. I'm sure there are faster ways to navigate around. But moving around like this brings back memories of black and white. And I'm not talking about televisions. I'm talking about the beefed up Tamagotchi simulator. From when was that from? Was it late 90s? Early 2000s, perhaps? Not sure. Anyway, we've got that done. Sprite is all spritey. Now let's do an export like this. And we are putting to there. Yes, that is correct. Yep. Great. So we should have that available now. Oh, cool. What's happened here? Sprites have updated. And interestingly, the wall sprite has been replaced with this one. All these tiles are now lasers. We have like laser beams. We've got robots are lasers walking along and firing. What are they firing? What is that? A whole bunch of things. They got a shield icon, an actual shield, a bit of wall, a blueprint. Wow, this is amazing. Best game ever. Right, so apparently that's what happens if you have it running when you swap in a sprite that changes the dimensions, and you haven't not yet gone into your sprite editor, and oh, okay, that's interesting. So it's added an extra row down here, but that's like interpreting it as being on the bottom corner. So yeah, these are the laser beams, and that's what you're getting. I think. No, this was what it was instead of laser beams. Those guys. And so that's why instead of the robot, it had that laser. So all of these need to shift up, but I don't know why. Why is it interpreting that as being anchored on the bottom? I wonder if it's related to this. Interesting. That might even be worth a little Google of that, because, like, basically, unaligned sprite sheets. That's Godot though, and I've typed Unity here, so different. Nothing's coming up. Like, basically, every time I get to a new row of these sprites, it's going to cause a problem. So I was just thinking, or checking if there's a way to deal with that. For some reason, it's using the bottom left coordinates as the basis for the coordinates, and that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to use the top left. I assumed bottom left. It could be the bottom right or bottom center. Anyway, that's right. I think I can just fix it. Like, I think it's a fairly quick fix. And actually, undo. Try to do that. Can I select all of them? If I can just select them all and shift them up, that'll do the trick. But if I do this, I think that's just creating a new slice. Right click just seems to move it. I can't shift click. Can't control click. Okay, let me try a different approach here. Unity sprite editor. Move all. Up. Oh, looks like several different people have been asking about it. Okay, somebody did some stuff with editor scripting. That's a good point, actually. Not necessarily scripting it, but if I look at what has changed in that sprite. Oh, hey, Omega Killer, didn't see a message come in there. Yes, that's right. The red blinking is malfunction because they don't have the parts. That'll actually become really obvious when I've implemented today's thing, showing which action is currently being performed. So when you select that robot, you'll see it does that when it's on the red ones. How long ago was that from? Jeez, 15 minutes. I really got to fix that. It's fine with Twitch because I have it go ding when someone sends a message. But most of the messages come from YouTube viewers. So what use is that? Just quick response to a message there that you probably heard dinging. Yeah, so all these need to move up, but maybe I can do that with the meta file. I guess you don't see the meta file here. Show an Explorer. Okay, Explorer, what do you got for me? This, let's have a look at that in here. So what do we got? Got a texture importer. haven't really looked at this stuff before, so I'll just kind of eyeball it, see what I can see. Looks like we got texture importer and then a bunch of stuff. Yeah, here we go. So just see. Yeah, so we've got all this other stuff, but here we go. This is, I think, the relevant bit. Sprite sheet. Serialized version 2 sprites. So we got a lot of keeping track of serialized versions. But there's my tile. X0, Y128, 64 by 64. And so that should be this tile. So I think 0 is meant to be the top left. So that's kind of weird. Weird that it would be doing this. So we've got alignment, pivot, order, outline, boats, some IDs, vertices, and so on. And then we got old robot. And that's X64. Oh, hang on. X0. 64, 128. It is based on the bottom left. So basically, if I have a Y128, I need to replace it with whatever 128 plus 64 is. So let me just close this. Just click revert that. If I made any changes, close that. And look here. That all looks fine. All right. So basically, we've got y equals 128. Yeah, that's the biggest. So just grabbing my old find and replace here. That thing out of the way to do. All right. So if I find y equals y128, and actually if I do it with the same indentation to make sure that we're not hitting some other thing. So I'll actually find this, including that new line. Would that not paste? Oh, that's fine in files anyway. Edit, find and replace. Quick. Is this not able to paste? Copy, paste. Do you not like? Why will it not copy paste into there? Is it the bit where it has a new line? Does it not like that? Let's try it without a new line. Just see if that's any better. Okay. How many occurrences do we have? How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's it. Yeah, we expect 8, so that's good. So we want to replace that with. Oh, no, I'm doing this a lot slower than I could be. Now we just want to add 64 to that. So that becomes 192. If I can still do mathematics and replace all those. Now we want to find y60. Just copy that actually, because we're doing y64. Replacing it with y128. Should have 8 of those, yep. So that should move it up. And then y0. Actually, again, copy that one. Now we're doing y0 with y64. 8 again. Okay, let's save that. Now there we go, that's got things back to normal. Now let's open the sprite editor and slice things. Yeah, it would be nice if you could just select all of them and shift them up. Oh. Okay. I've still got some that aren't any good here. And basically we just want to take the Y and add 64 onto it. So that becomes 84. This one here, 64 plus 68. Well, let's just do 28 plus 4, so 132. Nice. Just a laser here. Let's go here. And I think that's all of them. Cool. So yeah, I could write some code that would look for these things and add 64 onto them to shift everything up. But it didn't take that long to get that working. Okay, let's do grid like that with safe and slice it. And I'll name this one. What will we name it? What's this one called? Routine track. So I'll call that routine track highlight. Something like that. Or outline. Apply that. And okay, we're all good now. We have a sprite. So that was a little bit more fiddling than expected. But now we have something we can use to show that thing. And why don't I actually... So here's our routine track. Here's a UI track step. And it's a prefab. What am I looking at here? Got the step icon, delete button, and UI track step itself, which has an image routine track. Am I not seeing that? Where should I be zoomed to? So I can see this. So because it's not like on a canvas. Weird that it's looking that way. Anyway, all I need is another child on here. So let's just create a UI image just there. This will be the outline. The image will be that routine track outline. That's fine. And this thing is basically going to be snuggled up, like expanded to fit the UI track step there. So basically we're good to go. I think just stretch on all four. And should be just at 0, 0, 0, 0. Do -1 for the Z position because we want it on top. That kind of should work. I don't know why. I don't know what this icon is working. And like this is not. It's a button, but that shouldn't really matter, I would have thought. Different icon, color, material, right? Like, I can't really see anything on there that should make a difference. Oh, wait, it has a 0 width and height? Okay, I think I just figured out why it's looking weird and why it works here. Need to have that outline probably hidden by default. But basically this has got a width and height, but it's being controlled by its parent here, which has a grid layout. So it's becoming 1 by 1. So that's what's going on here. So basically, if I go into the prefab and just give this a size of 1 by 1, now that will work. That's such an ugly icon. Looks even worse on the magnifier because it's anti-aliased into oblivion. All right, so we got that. Let's get this outline hidden by default. And now in here, let's see, what have we got? This is the routine editor. Let's go to, does the UI track step have anything? It has a track step script. What have I done with my solution editor? Window. Windows. That's my different editor windows. That's my tools. I need to kind of like relearn Visual Studio because I was using Writer for a while and Mono Develop for a while. Very really updated to remember how anything works in its UI. Yes, the view menu. That's what I want. I want my Solution Explorer. So now I should be able to open my track step script. And what does it do when something gets dropped on it? It basically just tells the routine editor about it. So it has a reference to the routine editor. It finds it first. Yeah, so it's got just got a little bit of stuff to attach the UI onto. It's got a drop handler. And that's kind of about it. I'm going to move this stud up above the drop handler there. So do I want to have it responsible for showing and hiding that outline? Definitely. Let's make that a serialized field. So that's its sibling index. That's its where it's at. I haven't thought about how this is going to be wired up. Essentially, this needs to be able to be told to hide its outline. Show hide its outline. Oops, don't want a boxed boolean. That looks about right. So now what's going to call this and when? Essentially, I think it's going to come from the routine editor. Because it is kind of coordinating all of this stuff. I'm also just wondering how am I actually making this display on selection, because when I just get that wired up. So when you select a robot, or factory, it will report that selection. And the routine editor is one of the things that hears about it. And somehow that is setting all those images. I wonder if it is actually setting the images directly. Oops, I was waiting to have that selected and put that in outline so that it could use that. Okay. So anyway, they should all be capable of that. Let's have a look. Routine editor. So we're going to start in its update loop. Been changed something. So display routine. So this will be displaying the routine. Okay. Track sprites, yeah. So it's actually going in and setting those sprites directly. And that's a bit of a smelly code there. because it's basically reaching into something that is like all these track sprites. These live inside those track steps. So they're actually kind of reaching down into there. So instead of that, let's not do that directly. So I think we've got these track steps, right? That's getting all of those. That's reasonable enough. So let's actually give it a way to control that from here. Set icon sprite. So yep, that'll do. I'll probably change how this works at some point because I could make it work more like the blueprint editor where the thing that you drag actually gets dropped onto there and stays rather than it just kind of getting dropped and going back there. I won't fix that right now, but it is a little janky until I do fix that. So now I actually want this to have its own thingy. Okay, now we've got the step icon. So let's grab this is going to be a image Unity Engine UI image. I'll call that step icon. Just step icon will do. All right. Oops. I accidentally did a debugger shortcut. Let's just cancel doing debugger because so far I haven't needed it. Let's not pay the performance hit. Step back. There we go. So we set that icon sprite right there. And there may also be something in here that's deciding whether they're enabled. So let's start getting the track steps, track sprites. Yes, we are deciding whether they're enabled. So sprite null, enabled false. And here we're setting we're setting a few different things actually. Yeah. So we're setting the color. We're setting the sprite. We're setting the color based on if it's enabled. Based on if the action is supported. We're setting that enabled true when we were setting an action, and the rest of them get set to null and false. So basically, if the sprite is null, then we want it to be enabled false. We don't need a separate method for that. All right, just Where are these coming from, though? I might be able to make this even better. These are the command sprites based on the action index. And it's from the routine. Yeah, I'll add one more. Optional. Do I want to have it in the positive or the negative? This is to set it to the alternative color. Maybe I could do color actually. So by default it'll be white. And there's a problem because Y must be a compile time constant. So apparently color.white is not. It is a property. It's a new color with RGB. Is that okay or not? What's the problem here? Yeah, no, it's not going to like that. Okay, so maybe we don't have that. Maybe we just require a color to get passed in. And then we'll just always set that. Cool. All right, so now we can stop having this thing reach down into the guts of the other thing. And anyway, we see track sprites. Instead, it will be where track sprites comes from. Which is track steps. Which is defined locally here, so we'll have to pull that out. Don't know where my refactor to pull that out is, so let's just grab it manually. Hopefully won't need track sprites at all. Let me comment it out. So just delete it from here. Can always restore it from version control if needed. Yes, I am a color person because I live in a country where color is spelled with a U in it. So that's basically it. It is a little bit janky with the US spelling based classes, but that's right. It's fun to be defiant. saving the world by adding an extra U into something, which is readable either way to programmers. Otherwise, they would not have been able to read it. Okay, here we go. So basically, this should change to track steps dot length, and we just want to set that to null. Now what do we want to do? We want to set icon sprite null. And just white as a OK default. So setting to null should cause that to be enabled false. And here we are, another one. Track steps. Set. Oops. Track steps I. So that's a start. We'll comment that. And we've got our color right there to give us the second argument. And also, for some reason, have VLC deciding it's time to open and start doing something. Weird. Okay, and that enabled is going to end up true by virtue of there being a thing there. So that's fine. And then this is going to be exactly the same as that. Cool. So I think that will work. We still haven't done anything to make that outline work. It just basically, this has all just been making the responsibilities a bit more appropriate. So basically this component here is responsible for all the stuff nested in there, and this component there is doing nothing. This component up here, is talking to these, the top level of those prefabs, not reaching into them to do stuff. So that should all work still. I'll just check I haven't broken it. And then I'll get that outline showing up, which is going to be, it's going to require robots to report when stuff happens. So yeah, nothing supported there. We're actually not seeing any routine here at all, so something's clearly going wrong. trackstep.cs40. So what did I forget to do? I think what I forgot to do was, can I edit the prefab? So what if I go prefab Open isolation. That's this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're missing that step icon being dragged to there. So I'm sort of on the fence about writing code to like find these things in Start versus just dragging them into there. But dragging them into there has an advantage if you're anywhere where you don't have to sort of drag it into a bunch of places. It's basically its version of control. Makes it easier to reconfigure. Doesn't matter if you rename something and so on. Okay, so I should select something to test that that's working. We're not getting console stuff here, but we're also not getting any routines showing up, so clearly something's broken. Set that sprite equals sprite, color equals color. Oh, I'm not re-enabling this ever. So that will be why. So this is my condition. But I want the inverse of that. So it'll always enable it if the sprite is not null, and always disable it if the sprite is null. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah, if I started spelling color without the U, then it feels like a slippery slope. Before you know it, I'd be measuring things in imperial units and then to dedicate 90% of my brain to figuring out how to convert all of the units. And I got other things I want to do with my brain, like wasting time on games and stuff like that. Right. Looks like something is showing up here. I also have no idea what's actually supposed to be selected at this point. So I don't know why that would show, but it looks like it's updating. It appears to be appropriate. Okay, cool. So I think we're ready to get that outline working. And so basically the robot needs to, like every time it starts an action or advances the action step, it needs to report that sort of, if it's the current selection, that'll need to be in some way broadcast to the other things. So let me grab robot, there's robot. And we have our routine here. And we should have, next action index. So that's starting at 0. And presumably, let's go to next. Jump to next. Is the stream still working properly? So apparently it's thing go on with my restream. So it wants me to re-log into chat. Still seems to say that the stream is running. Let me close that and just reopen that chat doc. So That's annoying. Okay, let me just get rid of that magnifier off the stream for the moment because I don't want to be finding my login and so on. Oh yes, let me just enter this master password. Can't enter it anyway. Your fingers have forgotten how to type. Failed. Actually, didn't type it right at all, did I? Self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, can you stop using that one? What? Why are you trying to load? Bear with me 1 second here. Just gonna jump over to here so that I can mess around a bit more. That's better. Okay. Good. Don't know why, like, in the middle of streaming is the time that it chooses to time out. I would think more like the start of a stream or the end of a stream would be a good time to sign out. But apparently I need to really, really thoroughly prove that I am not a robot by identifying some things that a robot could identify. But apparently robots are better at identifying things than I am because I had to keep asking. Okay, so hopefully the stream has been up. Chat has not. So any messages in the last few minutes might need to be repeated. That was disruptive. Now where am I? Where was I? Where am I now? Okay, we've got a robot. It needs to. Awesome. Yes, that's good. Yeah, I don't know why it dropped out the other day, so I better check. Oh yeah, the chat was up as in existing. I just wasn't receiving the messages for it because for some reason it had picked that time for my whatever login I needed for the chat to work to just time out. Weirdness. Anyway, okay, this robot, it needs to. So I was just looking at the next action index. So whenever that changes, it will pretty much need to. Thank you. Yes, I need to press this button here. That's better, isn't it? I assume. I'd switched it off that and then switched it back on. Yes. So next action index. I remember. Can I like select next? Or go to next? matching selection. Let's just hit this. Okay, so it gets incremented right there, and then gets moduloed to ramp back to reasonable action. So it's when this gets called. So that exactly is when we need to do that. So I guess actually at this point we basically need to report that, but also on selection. Oops, hit the mic there. So here we need to like broadcast or something. Or maybe not actually. I might not even do that in here. I might just make the action index be readable and then have the routine editor in its update loop. Do something. So we've got the blueprint and we've got display routine. So whenever the blueprint changes, when you've selected a different thing, that's the only time when it actually updates what is shown in the routine. But then I think we also want to leave that to do there, but basically, so like if a robot is selected, then we want to get the action index, the current action index, and then I guess like if changed since last time, list time, no, last time, then change which thing is highlighted, which track step, and say outlined. And we also want to do that like on selection, clear or update the outline. Okay, so I think we might need to update has routine selection. That is printing, which is not what I want to do. Trying to use VS Code shortcuts here. Has routine selection. I don't know how I got visual scripting in these using statements. It's not using system either, is it? Yeah, this selectable unit is what I mean. Update that. So we've got whether it's editable, which is a Boolean. This might be too generic, having it be just a selectable unit, editable or not. Although actually, yeah, it might be good to make those enemy factories not editable. So we've got a routine, and so we've got a current routine step that we can get only. I'm wondering, should I just do like -1 equals no routine step yet? Yeah, that would actually work really well, because then if it's no, would that work really well? Kind of like a bool to just say if it is running routine. So that's just going to be robots will run the routine, and then therefore they will have a routine step. So yeah, that'll do. I'm going to have to update the factory in the robot, because they implement that interface, but they are failing to implement it. So here, that's just going to be false, and routine step doesn't matter. 0. Robot, be a bit more civilized about it. Okay, so routine step, it's just going to return that next. The thing is, it's like that's the next action index. It increments before doing it. So why did I do it like that? Instead of just having the current action index. So when we advance the routine, we basically look that up and then advance it. I could do it the other way. I could advance it, then look it up. And yeah, I think I will. So I'm not going to do a broadcast at all. I think that was mainly just so I could so do that, get that right, then get the action and return it. So actually I can just inline this. Oops, that was not inline. Where did you go and select that one? There. All right, and also I want to rename this. Let's call it action index for now. And then we just need to get that to start at -1. Because then when it adds 1 to it, it'll be at 0, which is the first step of the routine. And that -1 also tells us that we haven't started on the routine yet. So running routine is going to be basically just if action index is greater than -1. No, I haven't actually. I don't think I've tested what happens if you have no steps in the routine. Because it's going to try and do like modulo 0. What does that even do? Not sure. Anyway, so initially it won't be running the routine until it has finished spawning, and then it will be running a routine. Okay, so now we have a robot. We have a way to interrogate the robot from. What have I changed in here? Is this string's changed? A way to interrogate the robot from here. So actually, it doesn't matter if it's a robot. If it's running the routine, then we can like do this. Routine step. Do I want to just keep track of which one is outlined here so that I don't go changing them too much? Or do I just want to update all of them each time? Either way would work. Probably prematurely optimizing to it that way to check if it's changed. So let's go from here. We basically just will need a new thing. We're just going to update current step indicator. Like that. With current step. Let's go else. Clear current step indicator. That seems good. Let me generate methods here. Go implement that one. So basically going to iterate through our track steps. And each step in our track steps. Basically going to go. Oh, I need the index. What do are they aware of their own index? They had sibling index, right? Yeah, they've got their sibling index, so that's good. You can just that's a secret, right? They don't tell anyone what their sibling index is. It's just a private int. Okay, we just make this show outline index int index. If the index is equal to sibling index. Cool. So now we can just call that Show outline and index. Current step. So they basically each get called with that index. If it matches, they'll show it. Which means that we can now implement this. I'm just going to put this after that anyway. That can basically just be a call to this with an index that won't match any of them. -1. Oh, thank you for telling me that Dropbox is almost full still. Very useful. Omega Killer, I'm assuming you did start seeing my laptop screen when I switched it over, right? I just keep, every time I look over to the chat, I see that message and go, I made that show, but did I? It looks like it's broadcasting, should be. Cool. I thought so. I assumed so, but what if it had like stopped showing and then the something had the chat had broken, so then I was just streaming nothing to no one. I would still get the game made, but it's not as fun all alone. Okay, so that looks like it's working. This one's just going to walk. Who has got a routine that involves shooting? Are you going to shoot? Walk, shoot, step, shoot, step, shoot. Yeah, that seems to be working. Oh, I could even have that outline turn red. That'd be interesting. Maybe I should have made that outline white. Also, like, I have a problem here. Yeah, okay. When you don't have anything selected, because the robot just got destroyed. Oh yeah, you can't do that. Because, I mean, you shouldn't do that. Because yeah, it wasn't the thing I was thinking of. All right, if I do that, but then give it a bool default, all right. So if this that so yeah, if we don't have one of these, we'll get null, and that'll just give us false for null. Then yeah, we're going to end up with just realizing I probably don't need all of this stuff. First of all, I can inline that. No, I guess having a method with a different name it does save having to like read. Go and read the code to figure out what -1 means. I'll just pop that down on the next line. Yeah, it's a bit more readable. If that's happening on update, it doesn't really matter about on selection. So yeah, was just thinking if I made that outline white, then I can tint it. I could probably tint it anyway. But just how would it look? Yeah, those are all. How long ago was that? There is in the log message. Oh yeah, 3 minutes ago. And I noticed them. So that should fix those. Hopefully. Right, so our track step has the outline. And let's just see how it looks if we tint it with, say, red. It looks kind of unamazing. So let's not do that. I'll just jump back in here and try to make that like that white, and then I might even make that kind of glow a bit more prominent. But do I have a way to just desaturate? Or maybe I can just grab this on both, get that to be a what? Did I just verify that? Don't know what I just did to those. Let's see, we've got that one. And now I just want to make that white. I just, what I'm trying to do is get that color with that level of transparency there, and then replace it with something else. Which I think just should be, turn those up like that. Still have the alpha, but actually a little bit higher, set like that. Okay, now can I replace? Where's my replace color thing? Yeah, replace color here. Place that to that. Okay. Good. I'll do the same thing with this one. I'll basically just grab that one, turn it into white, and then replace color. Oh, it's Shift R. I was doing that when I was changing some hair colors in some sprites. But there we go. I should have actually, I should get this and just turn the alpha up a bit. The other one was at 50. Let's do, say 30 for this one. Yep. And then do it again. I'm not getting the color replace dialog. Oh, that's because I was pressing the wrong key. I was pressing Control R. Is it just me or is it not gone? Hmm. Just undo a little. There it is. It's back. So what have we got in there? That's with 14. That's with 30. Oh, whatever I just did just then. Oh, I think I was actually filling that in all over here as a gradient. And that was why. Just, uh, nope. Yeah, that's more like it. Cool. I'm going to save that. I'm going to export the spreadsheet, which is Control E, and do that. All right, that looks better. So we can tint it with pure red, or we can tint it with like blue color. About that. So like a green with 0.9 blue in it. Fun to animate the alpha on that. Okay, cool. So I had a color going to the sprite. Let me have a look at that. Show outline at index. Does this thing have any idea? This is like the only indication I think it's got about whether that step is actually supported. It'd be nice if that was actually doing more stuff. No, well, these are pretty dumb components. They just kind of do what they're told, so I might try and keep it that way. And it's more complicated to figure out if something's supported, isn't it? Now let's see in the routine editor. We go through a lot of rigmarole to figure out if the current step is supported. Oh, here we go. We've got get supported actions. Does it contain that? And maybe we can have that a few times, even though it only changes every time particular things change. Where else is that used? Here. This is for displaying the routine. Action. So we're looking up action from the robot action from the routine and checking it against supported actions. So yeah, I think that's what we need to do here. If we want to be able to choose a color. So this is now running like potentially 3 times in a single update loop, which is not fantastic. So I could definitely optimize that by computing it at the start of the update loop, passing it into all of those places. But let's not do that just yet. So we get our supported actions, which is this type right here. And then this is going to be the that one. Now, is that right? Here, when we're displaying the routine, then if it's null, so if it's not null, then it looks at the routine and it's grabbing it out of there, yeah. So I'll deal with the null possibility in a moment. We've got our, oh yeah, that's what's wrong with that, just because I've added something that is not supported. So color is go for like a blue color. Which is like G E that. Otherwise, we'll go like red. Okay, so now we can pass that color in there. Okay, but if this is not defined, or it's not actually running a routine, either way, we just want it to be white. So it's really only when the condition we care about is like selected robot or factory is not equal to null. And it is running a routine. Yeah, so we'll say default, don't show red. If selected robot or factory is not equal to null. Or actually, yeah, if this thing, because that means we do have one. and it is running a routine. So in that case, now we want to check the supported actions. So we might not actually run that. And then if that, if it doesn't contain that, then flip show red to true. And then we'll just do show red, color.red. Otherwise, this color, which I could pass in from somewhere if I wanted. So we're passing that color in there. Okay, so that is -1. Also, I don't necessarily want any of that stuff. If current step equals -1, we want to bypass all of that. So that's another one. Let's put that one here. So that's -1. Oh, wait. This has got that. Oh, if current step is not equal to -1. Okay, and I need to update this to include a color, add parameter. Okay. Let's go there and actually use that color. Wait, what is outline here? It's a game object. Let's change that. Let's have it expect an image instead. So then we can just do outline.gameObject, set active, and before that, we can do outline.color equals color. Okay. And then I'll just need to make sure I fix this. So here, outline is currently set to an outline object. And if I drop that in, it'll change it to no. This is image. That is not. I actually changed that. I have. Unity does not seem to have got the memo. Maybe something wasn't saved. Oh. Oh yeah, okay. So here we go. Questions. Double question mark. C# have the concept of design patterns. Design patterns sort of transcend languages to some extent. So it's just a matter of what design patterns it supports. Sorry for the delay. Hey, it's only it's only a few minutes, but I really need to get my chat making noise so I can see it. So yeah, you can implement design patterns in C#. And okay, the double question mark is in TypeScript is called a null coalescing operator. It might be the same in C#. Essentially, it means if the left side of the operand computes out as null, then use the value on the right. So it basically says if the left is null, use this as a default value. So it's basically it's could be a shortcut for writing something like and I use that not just here. I'll just update that while I remember. Oh yeah, so it's actually got the image component for outline now. So where did I use it? Here we go. So this bit of code here, let's say I was just putting that to Boolean. Now, that is basically the equivalent. So I've got a couple of things going on here. So this is basically the equivalent of saying, like, if this is null, then return null, otherwise return that. But yeah, basically what this means is if that's null, then return this, otherwise return that thing. So could probably do the same with a ternary. We'll just duplicate that. I'll leave that one. Call this one bar. No, I'll call it bar because there's 3 letters. If that is equal to null, then return false. Oh, let's do it as not equal to null, actually. Now I've got to copy this whole thing here. And that's that value. And it. So it's not liking it, but essentially that's the same thing. What's your problem with this? Oh, because this technically returns a nullable bool. So that's why. But let's say we did it without that. Just say we knew that this wasn't null. Now it's saying it's always going to be true. But anyway, yeah, basically that's how you read that. Well, I wouldn't read it that way, but it's that's what it means. So in Swift, it means using a default value. That's essentially it. Does it definitely mean if optional unwrapping it failed, or does it just mean if this is null on the left? Because if optional unwrapping fails, you will get null. But yeah, I think same for C#. Yeah, null coalescing. Yep. Yeah, basically. And yeah, it's like much nicer than writing this whole thing out. you kind of want to go like sort of an intermediate value, intermediate variable equals that. I'm just going to call that actually just the letter V. C#'s not quite clever enough to figure out that the fact that this is the case means that this is no longer a nullable. Bool is now actually a bool. Anyway, that's enough about that. Unless there are more questions, in which case I'm happy to answer them. But I'm basically out of time now as well. So that's not what I want. All of these are enabled when they should not be. And I'll go back to null reference exceptions. So was that because I broke this somehow? Object reference not set to an instance. 47. Wait. Why are you not opening that? There we go. Oh. Did I forget a thing like this? Nope. I don't think that worked properly when setting the outline. I think I'm going to set that to none. Then I'm going to put the outline back in there. Because I think that just didn't work properly. Wait, does that work properly when you do that while it's in play mode? I don't know. I'm going to set it to none again. Drag that. Oopsie. Drag that back in there again, just to make sure. And run it again and see. Should have cleared the console first. It's looking okay. What are you doing? Yep. Those are all red. What are you doing? Walk, walk, walk. Wonderful. And you are going to walk, shoot, walk, shoot, walk, shoot, walk, shoot. Well, seems to be working. Let's get something a bit more interesting going. You can do lots of things. Let's do the old skip to the adjacent thing. And then fire a few shots and block. You didn't quite get the whole routine. Here's a new one coming out. No. Which factory did I just set that in? This one. These are slow to build because I've got. I think it might be energy constrained actually. Oh, okay, just got exploded. Needs to be defended by these. Let's make these go like step, step, step. Then, oh, I was going to say turn left. They need different kind of legs to be able to turn left. There you go. Turn left. Don't worry about a shield. Just turn left and fire some shots. fire a bunch of shots. Hopefully that will defend those other guys. Okay, we got one spawning soon. There it is. Ah. Why are they exploding so quick? Are they being shot? Anyway, okay, here's someone. Seems like they're taking excessive collision damage. Oh, they're colliding with the shield as well. Let's just wreck these guys. Make them not such a concern. You can fire your non-existent laser a whole bunch of times. Enough to give some time for someone to run into you. Okay. Alright, cool. Now I actually get a chance to see this routine in action. And if we take off the shield, then we get to see something without a shield. What are you doing? There we are. Okay, select this. I probably should have done a routine that doesn't just get them exploded straight away. That should stop these from working properly. So I get to have a look what's going on here. There. Yep, you. So now, red. Yes. Excellent. All right. Well, I'm over time, so I'm going to call that. What I'll call it is ready to kick off a new build. I'll just get the prefab to have the outline be not enabled by default, just because that's a better fail state. Doesn't make everything look weird. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'm going to start another build now, so in about no more than 10 or 15 minutes, it should be up on Edge in command bots. So that is the place to look. Eventually I'll get some links on those videos when I run out of hecticness. Oh yeah, one more thing. Show current action robot. Done. Didn't fix that bug yet. I'll have to do that next time. Whatever's causing that to not think. I didn't forget. I just didn't do it yet. Because I was, well, maybe I said I was going to do it the next morning. Oh, here's the sticky note that says to do it. Wait, is this the description here? If I just open, like, here. I grab this. Put that here. There. Give it a moment. Okay. Now is the link in the description? Hopefully. Anyway, that is not this version. I will end the stream so I can run a build without crashing the stream. And then I'll run a build. Oh, do you want to see something cool though? This is how my build thing works. I've got my edge built here. But before it runs, my one asks me this. And so then I press yes. That way I can walk away and go get some sleep, and it'll just upload it all by itself. So I'm going to do that now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, which is in 3 days, I think. And yeah, let's fix that bug. And then I don't know what to do after that, because my to-do list only has one bug to fix on it. So that'll be fun. I think I might add some parts. I will have a good night, Omega Killer, and you too. And everyone else. Including, hey, it's Johnny. And I don't know if the other viewer is me or someone else, but hey, you get streams like that sometimes. Okay, gotta remember to press stop streaming before I press this, otherwise the CPU is going to be stretched too thin.